DVL, N1 DVL from November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey. You around tonight, old man? DVL, N1 DVL from November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey. Whole bunch of people pinching a wolf there, that's for sure. November 1 Whiskey Charlie Whiskey.
Yeah, I'm not the old man you're looking for.
How are you?
Well, this is KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
How you doing, Bruce?
How you doing, Dennis? I've got a a barefoot signal. And let me just switch the switcheroo here. Test 1, 2. Okay, yeah, all right. It looks like I got a pretty good match. I haven't changed anything, and the antenna's been wet and dry, and wet and dry, and the feed line's been blown. So I guess it's still working. Over.
Oh yeah, you're big as usual. No problem. Yeah, he's the only old guy that I get to help out because he lives so close to me. So that's the only reason I get to call him the old man.
Well, old man in this lingo we're using, I look at that as it's not a negative thing at all. It's I know what the word, enduring thing.
Oh yeah, it's meant. Trust me, it's meant with all due respect.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having Ray as a neighbor. At least, a short driving distance too.
It's so short, I have to go by him just about every day on the way home from work.
Wow, you're really in the neighborhood.
No, closer than you know.
Lucky you.
And if that didn't get him out here, I don't know what will. Anyways, I'm barefoot too as well, Bruce, so I think it's that time of night. The band seems to be playing good, at least between us.
Yeah, you're up 15, a solid 15 over.
Goody. So how you making out with your project that you've been working on?
Well, I feel like I'm swimming in tar with it, but I am moving forward, but it's just the details. I'm going to take a count of all the little teeny pieces and parts that I've had to fabricate. There's got to be over 100 in some of the bigger pieces, and I've spent many hours standing in front of the machine tools and turning things on the lathe and, cutting slots on the Bridgeport and drilling holes with the drill press. And it's coming together, though. I'm very close to assembling the main frame of the thing.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've been making progress, that's for sure. Hey, Just curious, I'm running a different microphone tonight. Is it 100% legible and readability is okay?
It sounds good. There might be a little boost on the mid-range. I don't know. Hard for me to tell, but that's just my initial impression when you said that.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, there may be a little bit difference from what I'm saying, but yeah, okay. It's just a headset, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, it's certainly legible and it sounds good.
Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still on the old D104, which I need to put a new cord on this. It's short. It's only about 18 inches from the rig, and I've got the PTT line running in a separate cord, shielded outside of the main audio cord. I didn't have any cable at the time when I was doing this, but I've since found some. And it's suitable for it. It's that nice rubber, jacketed, shielded, two-pair inside. And one of these days I'll get to it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if I had that microphone you got set up on there, I'd throw all the rest of the junk away. Yours always sounds good. Paul sounds good, too. I haven't heard him in a while, N2PD.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I overheard Randy say that he had, communicated with him via text or email or something, and that, he's doing okay, and that he just hasn't gotten near the rig to get on. I imagine we'd hear him before long, but yeah, he had a stupendous sound from that D104 he had. He did a really good job, and I think it really suits his voice. From element to element, the crystal elements change quite a bit. So you're kind of lucky if you got a good one.
Oh, yeah. I've probably got 3-4 of them around here, and every one sounds different. Every darn one of them sounds different. I get them all confused, so I mark them. And it's funny because I'm not a circuit guy. I don't know what I'm looking at. I've got one of those amplifiers in one of these D104s. It's an old tug stand, and it's got that MPF 102 mod in, but I don't know how to hook it up. And I really haven't researched it and haven't put any time into it. But if I could, I would.
Yeah, well, you get into it someday, maybe. Yeah, I mark them too. I got little pieces of masking tape, number 1, number 2, and then Tom sent me a beautiful backing plate with a silver eagle in it, and I've got that on a different head. I got to transfer it onto the head I like the best, because geez, what a work of art that is.
Ooh, I've got one of those somewhere. I think I had it on an old tube radio I had there a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, evidently Tom's family, when he was growing up, they lived across the street from the factory that made these things, and his family worked there and everything, so he's got quite a history with it.
Ah, nice. So all in all, you had a good day?
Well, yeah, kind of. We had to make a grocery run today. My wife's taking off for a trip next week, so we had to get some things into the house and pick up some things for her. So killed better half of the day, and so I wasn't as productive as I'd hope I'd be. And I got into a phone call, and I had to do some work for the solar company I work with. I spent a couple hours doing that. So the day slipped away without what I would call a lot of progress, but everything I did was kind of productive, nonetheless, but sort of, mundane maintenance kind of stuff.
Understand. Yeah, the same old thing. I started this new thing, and I'm really putting in some more hours, and It's going good. Everything's going good. Good production.
Yeah, I heard you got a new position. Well, congratulations on that. Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much different. It's just I don't have to get out on trucks and do all that labor anymore, and to me, that's great. I was getting tired, Bruce. But I'm just going into a different phase, that's all. So hopefully it'll pan out and everything will be good.
Yeah, but, that's great. Well, that is a big change.
Of,
from
the upgrade,
job
if you will.
You do physically. Trust me, I know what that's like.
That's what I was really looking forward to.
I put a lot of years in with, hauling and shipping and lifting and loading and driving and all that stuff. When we ran our wholesale business here, that went for 25 years straight without a break, pretty much. But it was good. Not complaining, but it certainly gets to you after a while.
Yes, sir. Yep. So, anyways, looking good. Everything's looking good, right on schedule, and all that kind of good crap. But the rain, man, I'll tell you what, I could do without some of this rain we've been getting.
It's been a wet season. I think we've broken all kinds of records for rainfall, and it's been cool here too. The average temperatures we haven't reached, the normal average we haven't reached in weeks. So it's been unusual. But I don't know, and the forecast doesn't show much change in the pattern for the extended, the 10-day.
Yeah, I saw that. How are your plants doing?
Well, they're doing okay. You need sun, a certain amount of sun to keep things healthy. And we're about the edge of, getting into some problems. But, if we keep getting a sunny breaks during the days, we'll be all right. The days are getting longer. That's a good thing, too. But the demand on the product is not probably where it should be, because people don't think of buying these things unless, it's a bright sunny day and they can think about their gardens or whatever.
Gosh darn people. N1 WCW, somewhere around 7:30.
Yeah, this is K Delta 1 Mountain Whiskey. About the same time here, Eastern Standard. No, daylight savings. Yeah, we were talking about time the other night, and Randy's sunset is about 20 minutes later than mine here.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, that's unusual, because he's only, realistically, was he a couple hours away?
He must be 300 miles, line of sight, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm under 200 to him, or matter of fact, I would imagine it is under 200 to him, but I don't. That's a long time. Mobile station, what? What do you say? K3 what?
Mobile station, go ahead. Yankee uniform or something like that. You're in the noise, but we can hear you. What's your location? He's not coming back. He might be hearing you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I heard kilowatt 3, and then it was a little bit off frequency, and I really didn't tune.
Kilowatt 3, Yankee uniform, Mobile.
Kilowatt 3, Yankee uniform, Mobile. This is November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey. Where are you, old man?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Winchester, Pennsylvania.
Whereabouts are you guys located?
I'm located in Palmer, Massachusetts, about 18 miles east of Springfield, Massachusetts, the Basketball Hall of Fame. Over. What's the name? What's the name? He faded on me.
Bill, Bravo, India, Lama Lama.
Okay there, Bill. Wild Bill, Wild Bill. All right. Well, you're making it up here to Palmer, Massachusetts. Can you hear Bruce?
Hey, Bill, I'm in Rhode Island. Rhode Island, go ahead.
Yeah, Rhode Island. Got a good copy on you. I'm only pushing about 100 watts because I can't get my tar hill to move.
Yeah, okay, but did you say you were Mobile?
Yes, sir. Mr. Long Island. I'm in Mobile and Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Lancaster.
Lancaster, okay, very good. Well, what's your antenna, over?
Come back to that one?
Antenna, what antenna?
Tar Hill 400.
Okay, Tar Heel, great, good going.
I don't know how I got Winchester out of that.
Yeah, well, you can't hear it all.
Well, thanks for coming back. I don't want to break you guys' truth up. I just wondering if this hunk of junk was getting out.
Well, it's getting out, and you're not breaking anything up. We like mobile stations on 160.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Good job, Bill.
Thank you, too. Okay, I got to go in the store here. I'll be back. This is Kilo 3, Yankee uniform.
Yeah, okay, Bill, there should be people on this frequency all evening if you want to keep trying.
All right.
Oh, that was something.
Yeah, well. I thought he was going to stay in there longer. I even turned the amplifier. I was getting ready to turn the amplifier on and let it warm up a little bit.
Yeah, it was good. Hey, well, look, Dennis, I got to run because I got a few more chores to do. Then I'll be back this evening, so maybe I'll catch you later. And
yes, sir.
WCW
Okay.
KD1
We'll
Mountain
catch you later. KD1 Mountain Whiskey from November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
Okay, 7-3 for now.
Yes, sir.
November 1, November Papa, Quebec.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm remote from my computer to my radio back at home. So how's the audio quality? I'm using a kind of a cheap headset with a mic in it.
Oh, it sounds fine to me. I've got no problem with it.
Sure.
I'm not that picky.
I picked it out of the garbage and fixed it, so I can't beat that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not that picky, so it's fine for me.
Band's quiet tonight.
Yep, this is Kim, right?
Anyways, I'm just checking in, and I gotta head out, but I'll jump back in when I get home here in a little while. So I will say 7-3s for now, and 1 NPQ.
And 1 NPQ. This is Kim, right?
No, name here is Bill.
Oh man, what? I'm having a bad name night, I guess. Okay, well we'll catch you when you get on the mobile. I guess I'm not, or at the home. I'm just not having a good night. I'm getting tired anyways. I've been up early. So anyway, 7-3, and the remote sounds good. I think it sounds wonderful. November 1 Whiskey, Charlie Whiskey.
7-3.
Check.
I am hearing voices in my radio.
Oh, my God, it was stainless steel Mike.
Mark.
Mark.
You're still having a bad night with names.
I'm trying, Ben.
You knew who I was. I knew you knew. I felt the love, but that's all right.
Yeah, I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes just waiting for the band to try to open up enough that I could hear who the voices were.
Yeah, well, I was running 100 watts before. I've got the amp on now.
Yeah, the sun is still up, and yeah, it's going to be getting later and later every day.
I think you need a better and better receiver.
Yeah, I was get Ray, sit back, take notes. I was just going to tell him that. I've got the TS2000, and let me tell you, it hears, it does things, but it just doesn't do what the new stuff does. And I really like that 2000, so I'm with you. But anyways, good evening, Raymond.
Good evening. Can you hear me, Mark?
Ray? Hey, Ray, how's the audio? I'm on remote here, so I figured if anyone would give me a good, honest opinion, it'd be you.
Hey, you sound great.
I thought he told us. Yeah, I told you.
Wow, I can't believe it. This is like a $12 headset. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it really sounds good. Really, really good. Is this Bill?
Yeah. I'm actually remote at my one of my schools. We're getting our web filter companies here switching us out.
Sounds just as good as if you were talking into the radio. It's a miracle.
Yeah, this is pretty darn cool, I must say. So, Kenwood must have. I think you said the software is even free from Kenwood to do remote.
Yeah, I don't know, but Randy, I wish Randy could hear this because, Randy's thinking of doing a remote from, for his mobile, and this thing sounds great.
I'll be here probably for another hour or so. So, anyways, I got to run, but I'll jump back in a little while. N1 NPQ.
Okay. If you hear Randy, jump back in. N1 DVL.
I can now hear Ray.
That's what I was wondering, if you can hear me, because that receiver down there is right on the ragged edge.
My work's pretty good on. I notice it up at the top end, Ray. It's not so much on the bottom end, but it doesn't. The 2000 doesn't hear like the little baby 73.
Well, I know. I was listening to a guy talk about those radios, and he said they're totally deaf on VHF and UHF. He said they're terrible. And he said he sent his back to the factory to have it checked out because it was so bad. And he said when he got it back, it was a little bit better. He said, but he's got a scanner and he's got a T2000. And he said he can hear stuff on the scanner that he can't hear on the T2000.
Oh, really? What was that, Mark?
I said it doesn't matter how good your receiver is. If the conditions aren't there, you're still listening to noise.
No. The other day when we were in here, there was 6 people in here, 5 people in here, and they could all hear you perfect, and they were all running 1,500 watts, and you were having a hard time or couldn't hear them.
I don't know, Ray. I think I might have to disagree with you tonight and get angry about it.
Ooh, sounds like a war.
That time I was in here, Russ was in here,
really
Carl was in here, I think Dennis was in
Mark.
here, and we could all hear you, and Bill was in here, and we could all hear you, and you couldn't hear any of us.
Don't make me throw a sloppy taco at you.
What are you going to throw at me?
A sloppy taco?
A sloppy taco?
Yeah, with sour cream.
Oh, okay. Hello. I'm just checking my tune here because it's drying out fast. Let me retune this just a hair. Well, I could probably do it by hand without the tuner. Hello. That's good right there. Okay, I can live with that.
I think I'm probably the farthest away from all you guys at the moment.
Yeah, you'll see when you get a real radio.
Oh, boy, Willie.
You mean I'll hear the noise better until you're there?
No.
No, you'll hear us with no problem.
That's 73. I'm telling you, even the dinky little cheap entry level 73 here so far down into the noise it would scare you. I'm not kidding you.
It seems like I hear Ray better.
Yeah.
I won't even have to use the amplifier.
Well, you didn't use it last night.
Is that him clicking and breaking up, or is that my imagination?
No, there's something in here clicking and breaking up. It's not me.
Okay.
Probably me.
No, I don't think it was you either. I think it was just somebody keying up and they were breaking up.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what I was hearing.
Well, you know it can't be me.
Hey, I got to get up there and get that hard line from you.
Yeah, or I'm going to go on the what's tonight? What's tonight? Is tonight Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Hang on, the swap net's coming on 9/4. I can just go on there and say hardline for free.
Okay.
Make regular coax act like hardline.
3,000 cars will be in front of my house in 15 minutes.
Well, then there you go. You'll get rid of it.
Thank you.
Hey, Ray,
Yeah,
how do you make regular coax act like hardline?
I don't know how.
You soak it in Viagra water.
Yeah, okay. Somebody else came in there. Who else came in? Go ahead, N1 DBL.
Yeah, good evening, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just to give a planner right now of the amplifier. I don't know if you can hear me. This is Kilo
There's the click.
from Delaware. You copy me, guys. Thank you.
I can hear you. You're about an S9 in Massachusetts, and you're making it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to my call. I just wanted all the guys. I'm checking. I'm sorry that you USO. Thank you so much again, guys. The Kilo 3 Delta Foxtrot.
Okay, very good. Anytime. We're always here. This is the world-famous Toad Harbor Net, and we're here 7 days a week, usually from right around now until 9:30, 10 o'clock. Okay, see you later. N1 DBL.
And N1 DVL is the toad with the teeth.
Ray, you went from 0 to 7S units in about 7 minutes.
Right, well, I did, when I first came in, I didn't have the amp on.
In fact, all you guys just came right up out of the noise like within the past 5 to 10 minutes.
Right, well, it takes, this amp takes 3 minutes to warm up.
His receiver woke up.
Did I cover Dennis up again?
No, you didn't cover him up.
He tries.
He does try.
It's getting drier and drier. As soon as it dries out, I'm going to shoot those lines over the trees, and I'll be
drier
up
and
with
drier,
4 wires
I'll go
again.
over there
See how
and
that
build him
works.
an antenna.
What did he do? Spill water in his amp?
I don't know.
Come on, Ray. What are you doing over there?
I don't know. I think I have a short in my jumper wires.
That's my excuse.
That's a good way to ruin some equipment.
Oh, God, it's already past my bedtime.
That sucks. When you got that new executive position, you should have included you get to work at 8 o'clock.
No, I can go in later. I got things to do. Executive position. You're out of your mind.
Do you have a big mahogany desk and a comfy chair now?
No, but I'm moving one tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Well, did the money end of it work out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
All right, now the sun has set, and the propagation is starting to level out.
Okay, would you want me to turn my amplifier off so Ray could be stronger?
No, you guys are all you're all starting to sound normal now. It's just that
when I first got on here, I could hear voices way under the noise, and the noise floor was really high. And like I said, within like 5
This is radio.
somebody threw a light.
I know.
The propagation got to me, and then there everybody was.
Huh. Yeah, that's it. Well, I do contribute it to the receiver in that thing. And the only reason I say that, Mark, is because I have one. Okay? I don't get those type of results that you get, but I do understand that you're in a different part, of the country, and you're further away and all that, so your conditions may be a little bit different.
Now,
and that
listen.
is a contributing factor, but the radio is kind of deaf. But on 160, it's not. It's not as bad as what Ray would think it is.
It's not that it's deaf, it's being overloaded. Didn't you know, you have to listen to what he's saying. He said, before when the sun was up, he said, you're way down in the noise, and I have this big high noise level. The high noise level is the overload. It's the radio front end is being crushed. And then what happens is when the sun goes down, all the AM broadcast stations drop in power from like 5,000 to 1,000. They change their directivity, and the local stations will go way down in signal strength, and then the receiver starts to receive. You wait. When you get a decent radio there, you watch. When the sun is still up, you're going to be able to hear us, and you won't have that high noise level.
I'm getting a second floppy taco ready.
Yeah, and it's funny because Ray's not really that any closer to those AM radio stations than I get, and I don't get my TS2000 does not get flattened like he's describing.
No, I don't have front end overload. I don't got anything near me. It's just that the band was.
There's no front end. That's why it doesn't overload.
It was too short yet. It's called propagation, and I'm sure Ray's aware of that.
You could be getting overloaded from the airport. They're running their radar or something.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what he said.
And you'd hear it.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, boy.
BXB. Hey, I finally found a good red wine.
Oh?
I'm interested. I'll have to go down and read it off the bottle. It says 7. It's a white and black label, and there's a 7 on the label. That's all I know. But the guy said, try this. It's a blend. It's a blend of red, and it's very, very nice.
No sulfites?
No, there's sulfites in it. I went to his store the other day, and this guy's got a big store. And I went through every bottle of wine in the place, and every single one of them has sulfites in it. And he said they don't make any wine. He says there's one wine I used to get that doesn't have sulfites in it. He said, but I don't get it because nobody ever buys it. That's the only one. He said, other than that, everything's going to have it.
You're just going to have to make your own wine, Ray.
I guess. But then did you hear what that guy said the other night? Did you hear what Randy said, why wine has sulfites in it?
Well, it could be the Kennedy curse. You could have an explosion and lose your house.
That's it. Well, that's the problem. When those guys that make their own wine, all the bottles blow because they don't have the sulfites in them. That stops the fermentation, and then the wine doesn't blow.
Or you could just have the kind of cork that allows a little bit of the gas to seep out so that it doesn't get that high pressure.
N1WCWF50.
And 3 or more.
N1 DBL. Yeah, they have to put a little pressure regulator in there that pops off at like 5 or 10 PSI.
Yeah, they make such stuff, for brewers and people that do that kind of stuff,
He's asking where you're located, Ray.
Me, I'm located. Who is this? I'm located in near Springfield, Mass.
This is Don on Cape Cod. Kilo Alpha 1, Bravo, X-Ray, Bravo.
Okay, Don, very good. I'm hearing you fine. I'm in Wilbraham, Mass.
All righty. Very good. Just coming up for the first time on a IC 7800 barefoot.
This is the first time you've ever talked on the world-famous Toad Harbor Net?
This is the first time ever.
Wow, that's incredible. I can't believe there's somebody that hasn't come in here and talked here before.
I'm always interested in new avenues.
Well, listen here for a while. This is the coolest ham radio group of people you'll ever run into.
And he's got a nice radio.
People. And I like to think I'm pretty cool. And I'm a wine lover.
Yeah, well, give me the name of a wine without sulfides in it.
I don't know. I'm getting educated here.
Right. Well, there isn't one. That's the problem. I mean, yeah, you can hunt around and find one or two, but 99.8% of them have sulfides in it.
And the sulfites are killing me how?
Well, I don't know. I'm just a little. I'm sensitive to that kind of stuff. Hey, I got to tell you guys something. This is for you, Mark. Are you listening?
Yeah, when I can hear you.
Oh, Mark, don't tell me you can't hear me, because you're 10 to 20 over 9, and you sound like you're in the room with me. And I'm running 1,500 watts. If you can't hear me, get rid of that piece of crap radio today.
That was the third taco.
Man, what a lot of whipped cream.
Sour cream.
Sour cream.
It sounded like sour cream.
You don't know how bad that thing is. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Quit your whining.
I was talking, I was tuning on 11 today, and I heard this guy, I know this guy, and I heard him talking about how sick he's been and this, that, and the other thing. And I started listening to him more and more, and he says, yeah, I've given up every wheat product. He said, I can't eat any wheat at all. So, and I know the guy, so I went in there, and I said, he's okay. And I started talking to him. I said, what the hell's going on with you? He goes, well, I got celiac disease or something. He said, if I eat any wheat, he said, I get sick as a dog. He said, I mean, really, really bad. He said, I thought I was going to die. So I said, what's your symptoms? He goes, well, first of all, my heart skips beats like crazy, and he said, I really feel terrible. Now, I said, okay, and I said, is your blood pressure high? And he goes, my blood pressure was so high that the doctor has me on blood pressure medicine. So I said, it's amazing. I said, because I'm in the exact same boat, and I had to give up wheat too. And I said, I took one blood pressure pill, and I started getting dizzy, and I said, I had to give them up. I said, I took my blood pressure the next day. It was 109 over like 52 or 48 or something. He goes, same with me. He said, now it's way low. I said, well, get rid of the damn blood pressure medicine, because he drives an 18-wheeler every night. I said, you got to get rid of that blood pressure medicine. He goes, well, I've already cut it in half. He said, you're not supposed to stop immediately. I said, well, the wheat, so you're convinced then it's the wheat that was making your heart rate, your heart skip and the blood pressure? He goes, absolutely, positively. So, Mark, I don't know how you knew this, but I'm in 100% agreement with you. This wouldn't have happened 20 or 30 years ago.
I cannot tell a lie when it's someone else's life on the line.
Well, it seems like I'm hearing a lot more people say that they're sick as a dog from eating wheat. By the way, now I went shopping today, and I went through Stop and Shop, and I found that Barilla pasta that Randy said. It's made with rice and corn instead of wheat. Now, is that okay to eat that?
Well, give it a try, and if it doesn't bother you, then you're probably fine on it.
Yeah, okay, because Randy tried it, and he thought it was pretty good, so I got a couple boxes. I'll try that next time. You know what I got? I got this hell of a deal today. I bought this big hunk of meat. It's top round, and I mean, it was $13.50. And now this thing weighed like probably 2 pounds.
I'm going topside, 73 M1WCW.
When you go out, you give them your Stop and Shop card. I don't have one. I just say put in a card for me, and the price was $5.50, and I'll bet you I got a solid 2 pounds of meat for like $5.50. And I brought it home and I grilled it. I made London broil out of it, and I cooked it really, really, really slow. And I soaked it in stuff for like 4 hours before I cooked it, and it was delicious.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do that.
So I had meat, and I had nice lean meat, no fat on it at all. Nice lean meat, and what are those long thin things called? Not oh God, I'm having a mental block. What asparagus? Yeah, asparagus.
Yeah, that's a great combination. Now, here's another interesting food fact. Whatever happened to lard?
Lard, that's what we used to use down the bar. That's probably why I have a stent. Every time we changed the grease, like you change it once a week or twice a week, you'd have a 50-pound square cube of lard. And in the wintertime, you had to use a big hammer and a chisel to break it all up and throw it in the fryer-later. It was hard as a rock at cold. If it was cold out, if it was like, say, 55 or 50 to 55 degrees in the kitchen, it was like breaking up a brick of bowling ball rubber.
Yep, lard is probably one of the better fats that you can actually eat.
It's better than vegetable oil?
Oh, much better than veggie oil.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, it certainly tastes a lot better.
Yep, but you know who killed lard?
Well, I thought they killed it because it has cholesterol.
Yeah, the myth of cholesterol. That'll be another night's discussion, that and high blood pressure. But we're talking about lard just briefly tonight. I don't want to bore everybody to tears. But, Crisco put the death of lard. And basically, them and a team of scientists that were being paid by them basically made up a whole bunch of lies and propaganda about lard 100 years ago so that Crisco could be the multi-$10 billion corporation that it turned into. And margarine.
Margarine's motor oil.
And what is Crisco vegetable oil?
Crisco is vegetable plastic. It should never enter your mouth or get in your body in any form for any reason.
Yeah, okay.
Margarine, the same.
Yep.
I can't eat Smart Balance?
No, just leave it alone, because the corn oil that they use in the margarine is the absolute worst corn oil that you can get. It's not even great enough to put in for Wesson corn oil to cook and fry stuff, vegetables and stuff with in the store. They use the worst grade of corn oil, which is GMO and genetically modified and Roundup Ready corn oil in margarine.
Okay, well, on that special diet that I lost all the weight on and my friend paid for, they tell you to use coconut oil only, period. Just anything you cook in coconut oil. How's that?
Coconut oil's okay. It's a little, I'm a little sensitive to it. Some people are. It has a natural antiseptic value to it, and it kills candida like crazy. So coconut oil is a very good oil to use if you have issues with yeast and candida in your blood and in your body because of a poor diet, a sweet acidic condition, blah, 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 blah. We talked all about that. But yeah, coconut oil is a very good oil to use. But you have to be careful if you're going to use it for frying or cooking with, because some of the coconut oil is purified better than others. If you get the really virgin stuff, you're going to have a little issue cooking with it. But yeah, stay away from the margarine, stay away from the Crisco, stay away from all of that fake hydrogenated palm, cottonseed, all of that garbage. Just stay away from it. It's all poison.
How about good guinea oil?
If you're going to fry something, fry it in lard.
Where can you buy lard these days?
Oh, you can get it in the refrigerated section right beside butter.
They got it in the back. They'll get it for you in Stop and Shop.
You just have a hard time buying large quantities of it. They have convinced the public through 3 or 4 generations now that lard is terrible for you and very bad for you when it actually is not. It's probably one of the better fats, and it's a fat that your body can use for food value, for storage and for energy, unlike the fats that are in hydrogenated palm, cottonseed, kernel oil, all of that garbage. Your body, Crisco, your body can't even use it. It's poison. I mean, it has to be removed through a large mechanism through the liver and a whole bunch of other stuff that just really toxifies you. And just stay away from Crisco. It's all a bunch of lying propaganda to make somebody a billionaire.
Would you like to be a billionaire?
In
How about good Guinea olive oil?
I don't think Mark can hear you. Mark, what about olive oil?
Oh, no, olive oil is very good. It has it's very astringent. It has anti-cancer qualities to it. It's very good for antioxidants, but it's a fragile oil. You got to be real careful with it. It doesn't like temperatures above $130, so you can't really fry with it because you destroy it and you turn it into something that's really hard to deal with. But if you use it like in salad dressings on your salad, you can take a teaspoon or a tablespoon twice a day of that, and it's really good for you. But it's very difficult to get very good olive oil in this country because where they grow it, Italy and places in the Mediterranean, they always save the best grade olive oil for themselves over there, and they give the United States the crap.
I hear you.
Well, whoever that is, he's under my noise level.
Your noise level is caused by your receiver.
It's caused by that street light I'm looking at that isn't lit up yet. You don't have one of them, do you?
No.
Yeah, that would be even worse because you'd have the front end overload plus the noisy street light right at twilight.
Didn't you call the company and tell them to replace it?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's the startup. It's the warm-up sequence. It takes like 20 minutes. It's a particular time of day event.
Tell them you want an LED light out there.
It's not my light. It's on borough property, and they don't care.
Wow.
Yeah, an LED light might make more noise than that thing does.
Right? So once it lights up and gets hot and it starts working normally, the noise floor drops down. And, as if that wasn't poor enough, we have another solar event heading our way.
Oh, I hate that.
And it probably will start showing its ugly face tonight.
There goes the bands.
Nothing bothers 160.
High absorption, aurora, fading.
Anybody going to Deerfield this weekend?
My friend called me, he wanted to go, but it looks like it's going to be raining.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Joe, and Joe said the forecast's a little off, so there'll be rain early, but it'll clear out.
Yeah, well, I don't have any reason to go there. I don't need anything. I got everything I need.
I like that.
I have 2 complete radios set up, so I'm all set.
Very good. What are you running for radio?
I'm running a Kenwood 890, and I have a 7600 for a backup.
Very nice radios. I have a Yaesu MP1000 MP Mark V 200-watt radio for sale. Anybody interested?
Dennis, do you have one of those?
He's going through his inventory.
So this guy's got one of everything. N1WCW, where are you?
Okay, Delta 1 Mountain Whiskey.
Well, I'll be damned. Just a little after 8 and you're in here. Very good.
And 3 or more.
I thought I'd give you a surprise. I'm just going to be here for a minute or two. I thought I'd say howdy to the net.
Why, what are you doing that's so important?
I have to take this radio offline. I got to run some tests.
On your radio?
No, on the project I'm running.
I hope you're getting paid 10 or 15 grand to do that project.
I do it for the love of it.
Yeah, priceless.
Who knows? Maybe when you fire it up, Tesla's going to answer you.
I've had some anomalies happen in this lab here, this Yankee Doodle Dandy Farmer in the Dell lab that I can't explain. I was driving a resonant coil once, many times actually, and had this anomaly happen where the power all of a sudden increased well in excess of the capability of the radio's power output, and I can't explain it.
That's not good.
No, I had to shut things down in a hurry. I was afraid something might blow up. I was going to sell the old Kenwood rig I was using, but it's very strange. So there's a lot of anomalies that we don't understand that happen. Maybe someone could explain it to me, but I can't figure it out.
Man, I'm yawning like mad here. I think that red wine's going to my brain.
Oh, are you drinking some?
Yeah, I drank half a bottle.
Holy cow, Ray, you're going to turn into a lush.
Yo.
Half a bottle of what kind of wine was it?
I don't know. My guy down here finally gave me a bottle of really nice red wine.
Oh, it was red wine.
Yeah, I hate red wine. I can't stand it, but this was really good.
Did it contain sulfites, which it probably did?
Yes, it did. There's no wine I could find without it.
I think it's a naturally occurring substance.
Not at the levels that they put in to stop fermentation.
Yeah. Is there more in white? I think there's more in white than red.
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure white has more. But this was really good wine. I've never found a bottle of red that I liked, and I really like this. I would drink this again.
They also put it in wine coolers.
Oh, anybody who drinks a wine cooler deserves whatever they get.
They put them in there especially high.
Well, you can make your own wine cooler. You don't have to buy it in a bottle.
The crap they put into those bottles, talk about bottom of that they drain radiator alcohol. They buy radiator alcohol from the companies that used to, remember? Bruce, you're old enough to remember when you could go to the store and buy alcohol to put in your radiator?
Well, I remember, not really. I remember, talk about it, but I don't ever remember going and actually seeing it,
Was that methanol or isopropyl?
I don't really remember, but I bought it and I put it in my Oldsmobile 442 one year. I was running alcohol in the radiator instead of ethylene glycol.
Oh my God, is that explosive?
Because the head gaskets on an Oldsmobile constantly leaked. They were always leaked. That number one cylinder would always leak water and compression, but it would leak water into the cylinder. It was so bad I had to get out of the car and take out let's say I shut the car off and went and watched a movie. I'd come out and I'd have to pull the number one spark plug out and turn the engine over to let the water out, and then I'd screw the plug back and fire it up.
Oh my God.
The good old days.
That isn't smoke out of my exhaust, that's steam.
Yeah, so then I put the I put the alcohol. It was blue. I remember it was blue in color. And you had to, of course, I always ran a 160 thermostat, but you had to run a 160 thermostat in because alcohol boils at 168. So that's what I did one winter.
Well, with the amount of leaking alcohol on cylinder number one, you probably got a horsepower boost.
Did I ever tell you how brilliant I am, Mark?
All the time.
Yeah, but if you got liquid in the cylinder, you can't crank it over.
Well, you can crank it over until the engine stops.
Yeah, right. You don't need a lot of liquid in the cylinder to get liquid locked.
No, but I've had that happen where you turn it over and go, and it stops, and you have to jump out with your spark plug wrench, take out the number one, kick it over a few times, and then spin it and get all the liquid out, and then put the plug back in, and away you go.
You were going to say something to me, Ray?
Yeah, I had a 1976 LTD Kawasaki 1000, and I read this really interesting article on alcohol and stuff and why it makes more power and everything. So I got out my calculator and some drills, and I pulled the carburetors all apart. I bought a 55-gallon drum of methanol, and I drilled out all the jets for the Kawasaki. One shot. Screwed them back in, filled the tank with alcohol, and that thing ran beautiful. It ran way better on alcohol than it ran on gasoline.
Wow. A little extra horsepower?
Yep, it did make a little bit more power. It didn't make a lot more power, but it was more powerful. I'm guessing it probably picked up 2 or 3 horsepower, but what it did do is it ran much better. The throttle response was much better. It didn't have that like sometimes you get it in a certain spot and you crank the throttle open and it would kind of almost feel like you had a flat spot. On alcohol, the second you I don't care how hard or how fast you snap the throttle, the thing just instantly took off. You know, the throttle response was way better on methanol than it was on gasoline.
You're full of shit.
And how much was the methanol compared to gasoline?
Oh, it was more expensive. But the thing is, you didn't. I actually checked this very carefully. The motorcycle got about 42 or 43 miles a gallon on gasoline, and it got 28 miles a gallon on ethanol. Although you burn the whole size is 2.3 times, so you have to flow 2.3 times the amount of alcohol that you do into the gasoline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It doesn't have as much energy in it per molecule.
Right, but now here's the trick part, okay, you geniuses, okay, all you geniuses, especially the guy with the big mouth. Somebody tell me why alcohol makes more power than gasoline.
Because its combustion, when it burns, isn't a bang, it's a whoosh.
No, that's not why.
Oh, really?
There is a specific reason why alcohol makes more power than gasoline. And one of the tricks is the higher the compression is, the more the advantage you'll have with alcohol.
I just told you that, you fuck.
Well, if you're so smart, then give me the answer. What is it?
It can compress more.
You can compress more? That dumb SOB he's getting close, but that's not the answer. But there is a reason for it. Who's the guy way out in the distance? Go ahead. I really can't hear you, but see if I'll try to listen. Go ahead. What is it? I heard something about when you compress it, but I'm not getting the first part. Try it again.
He said it does not knock. That's Bob. I can copy him. KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
Yeah, that's not it either. But here's the secret of alcohol. You want to run the compression ratio at 15.5 to 1 on alcohol, where on most gasoline you don't want to really go over 12.5. They got really good gasoline now. You can go up to like 13.5 to 1, even 14, probably 14 to 1 with really good racing gas. But on alcohol, you can run it. The higher you run it, the more power it makes. 15.5 to 1 is where you want the compression ratio with alcohol, and it'll make 30. Here. This is the phenomenal. Alcohol versus gasoline. When you take into, when you do the compression properly, will make 33% more power than gasoline.
Well, that just supports what Mark said, the whoosh, and I think what he meant by that is that the flame front, the velocity of the explosion is quicker.
Nope, that's not it.
Well, slower. It's quicker on the hydrocarbon.
if you get more power, there has to be a more rapid expansion or complete combustion. One of the two.
Nope, that's not it. Believe you me. When I read this article, this was a research article. It was put in one of the great hot rod magazines back probably in, I'm guessing somewhere in the 70s. And it was all stuff, scientific stuff born out of World War II when they were trying to get more power out of the plane engines. And they tried all kinds of stuff with plane engines to get more power. And alcohol would give them the most power of anything, but the problem is very limited range.
Well, we're waiting.
Yeah, so please explain why.
It runs cooler.
It runs phenomenally cooler. I could drive down the road on a 90-degree night in the summertime. I could drive down the road on the highway coming back from Northampton, and I could hold my finger on the cylinder head, but that's not why it makes more power.
Water.
We're still waiting.
Well, I want to give everybody a fair chance to. You'll almost, believe me, you'll never come up with a reason. It's amazing what the reason really is.
You didn't drink a half a bottle of wine.
Yes, I did. I've been drinking it since like 2 o'clock, though. I've been sipping on it, and then I drank it during the meal and everything. Here, okay, Bruce, you ready? Because you're a smart guy. You're a scientific guy. I'm going to tell you, and you'll figure this out. Are you ready?
No, I'm not a smart guy. If I was a smart guy, I would have figured it out already.
It's full of water.
No. Because it's called the heat of vaporization. When you heat gasoline by compressing it, it pushes back very rapidly because it doesn't have as much, the heat to vaporize the gas is much lower with gasoline than alcohol. So as you try to compress it and the piston's coming up to compress the mix with gasoline, the gasoline immediately starts pushing back as soon as it starts getting hot. And that pushback on the piston takes away 33% of the power. On alcohol, when the piston comes up to compress it, it's not getting pushed back because alcohol's more basically water, and the water has a lot more, there's a lot more heat energy, we'll say, in water than there is gasoline. And that's why you can run the compression up to 15.5 to 1, and the engine will, basically, the higher you go on the compression, the more power the engine makes because it's not, the engine's not having to work hard to compress it.
So you're telling me that there's no pre-ignition, there's no expansion of the explosion until after top dead center.
The evaporation temperature of the liquids is different. With the hydrocarbon, it's much lower, and with the alcohol, it's much higher. So just like he said, it doesn't go into a gas to ignite until it is all the way up.
It has nothing to do with the timing of the spark. You could actually, if you compressed, if you ran the engine down a hill and didn't have a spark, didn't have the ignition hooked up, and you had 15.5 to 1, and you were spinning the engine at say 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs. Let's say you started at the top of this hill and you got going 30 miles an hour, and then you let the clutch out, we'll say in fourth gear or something, and you spin the engine up to 6,000 RPMs with 15 to 1 compression on gasoline. When the engine starts coming up, it's going to slow the bike down. It's going to be, it's going to be like the engine's going to slow the bike down. But if on alcohol, it's not going to slow it down. You're going to keep right on coasting down the hill 33% faster because when you try to compress the alcohol mix, it's much easier to compress it. That's what the whole thing's over. And it's not heat or cooling or anything, because that's what they originally thought in World War II. When they were testing this during World War II, they said that when they had the engines on the stands running them at full power and everything, the intake manifolds would start smoking from they would get ice on them and frost. The intake manifolds would frost over, and that's where they thought the power was coming from, but that's not where it comes from.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay, so you're not wasting energy compressing the gas fuel mixture.
There it is. That's it, plain and simple. Now, it's very hard for me to believe that the cooler, like in an air-cooled motorcycle engine on a hot day, it's pretty hard for me to believe that the cooler, much cooler, like 250 degrees cooler cylinder temperature doesn't probably help. But it probably doesn't, because in all honesty, cylinder head temperature is too cold. Because like I said, I've come home driving on the turnpike doing 50, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and of course it was a 4-cylinder engine, and the two outside cylinders are in the airflow, but I could hold my finger right on the upper right-hand corner of the cylinder head, and it wasn't even uncomfortable. I mean, the cylinder head temperature was probably 120 degrees, where if it was on gasoline, it would probably be 320 degrees.
Interesting.
And that's why I think if you took that motorcycle engine and you could get the compression up to 15.5 to 1, the engine would make a shitload more power because it'll run warmer. It still won't run anywhere near as hot as gasoline. If you run probably over 10.5 or 11 to 1 on an air-cooled engine, most likely it's going to seize the engine because it's going to overheat. But you could run 12, 13 to 1, no sweat out with alcohol, and the engine won't even get warm.
November 1, November Papa, Quebec.
And that's probably also why the funny cars, as drag cars and whatnot, burn pure alcohol like that, and they have such crazy compression ratios.
Yeah, they run 60 pounds of boost, and if I'm not mistaken, they're probably running 10 or 12 to 1 compression with 60 pounds of boost, because when you run alcohol, you can really hammer the crap out of the compression ratio. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, where's Randy?
I don't know. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I give up. If I call him, he won't answer the phone.
I didn't even get a text saying it's radio time, so he's busy with something.
Well, text him. You text him and tell him to get on right away. He has to hear Bill.
I've been waiting for these guys for over an hour, and they still aren't here.
You still remote, Bill?
I am. I'm at one of my schools. We're switching over to a managed web filtering, and the company is supposed to be here by 8 o'clock, and they're not here yet.
Well, you sound pretty good for being remote, if I do say so myself.
Are you getting paid overtime?
No, I get comp time, so I'll just take a half a day on Friday or something.
At least you can get on the air.
Yeah, really, I don't consider this working. This is what I'd be doing at home anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Hey, I just called Randy. He just pulled in his driveway. Can you believe that nitwit?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I can believe him.
That's crazy. He goes to work at 5 in the morning, he gets home at 8:30 at night. That's sick.
Well, Ray, when you were working and running your restaurant, I bet you put in hours like that, too.
I hate that. If I told you how many hours I put in, you'd cry. You'd come up here and slap me. When that restaurant was running good, I put in about a total for the whole week. In the car, I work 7 days a week, but I'll bet you I was only putting in 20 hours.
Well, you had it made.
That's why it went under.
Yeah, it went under. Listen, stupid twit, what kind of radio are you running? Are you running an 890 Kenwood? Do you have a 7600 spare? Do you have 2 amplifiers? Yeah, it went under. It went way under. That's what I like about people like you. When you're made to look like you really are, which is a total AH, then you finally shut your stupid mouth.
You're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, right, but I got a better radio than you do, don't I?
You suck cock too.
Look,
you know what?
This is crazy.
You don't even deserve the right to talk in here to us, okay? You're just a low-life vermin scum, and this is the last time I will ever speak with you. So, okay, over to whoever. Go ahead, pick it up.
Hey, lovely. Anyways, Ray, do you have capability of receiving a picture via text message?
Who are you talking to?
You. I said, do you have the ability to get a text message, a picture?
No. You said Randy. I'm Ray. But no, I don't. I don't own a computer. I don't even have one of those silly phones.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I just took a picture of the system here and the headset and everything. So it's a $12 headset. It's funny if it sounds this good. It's pretty amazing to me.
Well, you sound a lot better than most guys that try to run that system.
Well, I got some of my cow manure out of my garden today.
Where do you get the cow manure, or do you have a cow?
No, can't have a cow here. Oh, I got it from one of the landscape places here close by. They had a good price on it, so I had them bring a truckload and deliver.
You have to pay for cow poop? Boy, what a business.
Hey, that's big business. Landscaping, mulch, mushroom soil, all that business, man. They're making good money at that.
And what do you plant in the cow manure? Are you planting hemp, or are you planting mushrooms, or what?
No, heirloom tomatoes, peppers, hot peppers, some squash. I'm not quite sure all what I want to put in this year. I'm probably get a couple different things going on.
Yeah, how about some nice, what do they call that squash? They're little, they're round, they're maybe 6-8 inches in diameter. I forgot what they call those. They were delicious.
Acorn?
No, it's not acorn.
Butternut.
Yeah, butternuts are good too.
No, it's not butternut, and it's not acorn. It's some oddball. What is it, Bruce? You're the expert.
Delicata?
That was one of them, but that wasn't my favorite either. Come up with another one. Blue? No, it wasn't Blue Hubbard, no. Come on, Bruce, there's one more. What is it?
11,000 varieties of squash.
Well, these were 6 inches, 7 inches in diameter. They were green color. I tried a delicata. It was okay, but it's not a Blue Hubbard. The Blue Hubbards are bigger. I can't come up with the name of the damn thing.
No, the only thing I grow is butternut and zucchini.
Yeah, I like zucchini. They're good. I can do all kind of stuff with them.
In fact, if anybody wants a good butternut seed, I've got a bunch of them.
Do you grow asparagus?
I do. I had some tonight.
You mean you already grew it?
Well, a bed will, it takes years to develop an asparagus bed, and we have one here that I started a new one last year, but the old one's still producing.
I'm told that an asparagus can grow from nothing to full height in a couple of days?
Yeah, it can. Mine's already up out there, and it's about 3 or 4 foot tall already. This is the second year I'm letting it go because I planted it last spring.
Well, how can asparagus be 3 feet tall?
Well, when you cut it and you get it at the store and you eat it, it's only coming up out of the ground about maybe 8 to 10 inches. Well, if you let that continue to grow, it grows up into a long, thin, tall, weedy-looking thing where all the little tippy things, the little leafy things on the tip of that, they all start spreading out, becoming long branches that come out off of it to make seeds.
Can you eat those?
Not real. I mean, if you got, tungsten carbide razor teeth, maybe.
Well, I've eaten asparagus until I'm asparagus-ed out, so I have to go find something else. I love Brussels sprouts, but they don't love me. If I eat, I can eat 2 or 3 Brussels sprouts and they're fine. But if I eat a whole bowl full of them, they make me feel screwed up.
They make you a little gassy.
No, it's not gassy. It just I just don't feel right. You know what else bothers me? And this has always bothered me, and I've known this for 5 or 6 years. But today, especially, my heart started skipping beats again from eating cashews. Cashews don't. I love the taste of them, but they don't go down well.
Roasted or raw?
These were roasted in oil. They were, but I will never get them again. I had already bought these, but if I eat the ones that aren't roasted in oil, I won't do that?
That's correct.
Okay, well, I was almost going to buy one today, and I said, no, I'm going to stay away from those damn things, but I'll take these and give them to somebody or throw them out to the my buddy out there at the Possum, and I'll get the ones not roasted.
Yeah, the oil that they roast them in is garbage oil, and also you screw up the natural occurring oil in the cashew, so it's a double whammy poison. Just eat them raw, and don't eat a lot of them raw, because nuts are very powerful. You don't need a lot of them to get the job done.
Well, see, that's the problem. If you look on the container, the nuts don't appear to have much of anything in them. They don't have a lot of vitamins. They don't have a lot of protein. They don't really have a lot of anything. What have they got that's so good? N1-DBL.
Oh, they got lots of stuff, but once you cook them and roast them like that, you destroy all of the things that are good for you. Most of the stuff that you get in nuts are fatty acids and fatty lipids that you need that are essential oils. You also get a lot of fat from them that your body can use. You got fiber, you got some sugar in there, you got a bunch of vitamins and stuff that are delicate. So once you cook them babies, you just take everything that's like that and you screw it up to the point of where you might as well not even bother eating it. And I know it tastes so good, but it ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah, okay. Well, the Nature's Promise makes a bunch of different nuts that are not roasted.
Yeah, if you were so seed nuts that were roasted, God would have made plants in liquefied hot oil that they would come roasted.
I doubled. There you go. Who said they had some butternut squash seeds?
This is Katie One Mountain Whiskey. You want some?
My wife's driving me crazy. She's bugged out. Yes, she does.
Okay, give me your call again. I'm sorry for it.
It's Whiskey Alpha 2 Easy Sugar. Everybody eats steak.
Okay, I'll throw some in an envelope to you if your address is good associated with that call.
Oh, yeah, sure is.
Make sure you got enough room for them because they get big.
Oh, yeah, we got 5 acres, no problem.
And they're so good. Ooh, they're good.
Oh, I love butternut squash, but I'm not the one with the green thumb.
Waltham that I've been saving for years. My grandfather used to grow it, and it's an heirloom, so you can just keep going with it.
Bruce, go through the names of some other squashes. Not delicata, not butternut, not the other one there. Come on, you almost got it. Keep on going.
Zucchini and summer squash.
No, I'm talking about the round ones. They're things probably 6 or 7 inches in diameter, round, hard. You kind of have to, you cut it in half, you clean the seeds out of it, and you bake it in the oven.
Acorn?
It's not acorn either, but it's very similar to an acorn squash, but it's not acorn.
Is it butternut squash?
No, it's not butternut, not acorn. Come on, Bruce. You know all the squashes. What's the one you haven't mentioned?
I don't know. It seems to me, it's evading me too.
Joanne says it's gourd. Spaghetti? Is this spaghetti squash?
I can barely understand you. What was it?
Squash. They roast spaghetti squash. ABQDPP.
Yeah, I can't get it.
You said spaghetti squash.
Oh, spaghetti? No, it's not spaghetti. It's like a butternut or one of those, but it's just a different name.
Crookneck.
No.
Amber
Patty
Cup.
Pan.
You guys are talking together. Single. Go ahead.
Patty Pan.
That was one. I've tried that, but that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Kusa.
What was it, Bruce?
I'm cheating. I'm looking them up on my silly phone. Amber Cup.
No. I think it's some kind of a cup, though, but it's not Amber Cup.
Kusa.
Autumn Cup.
No. I'm going to have to call the farmer and get him on the phone and ask him.
Academy.
Maybe it was Buttercup. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a Buttercup squash. I don't know.
Now the image on the silly phone screen, it kind of looks like a sort of a pumpkin, but with a girt around it, but it's green.
Yeah, maybe that was it, Buttercup, because he gets all those things and it makes me try them, and I tried them and they were pretty good. I was the one. I was giving him mushrooms. You know, I was finding all those what do you call it? Mushrooms, the hen of the woods, chicken of the woods. I was getting tons and tons of hen of the woods, and that's a real strong mushroom, boy. You got to be careful how you use those.
Acorn.
No, that was he had it, but I think it's a Buttercup.
Dumpling.
No.
Hubbard.
No, Hubbards are gigantic.
Kabacha.
No, he got it. Buttercup.
Buttercup. Okay, I'll shut up then. WA3FPN.
KB2ZVP.
Okay. Bill, are you in here?
It's the squash net.
Hello, Bill, are you out there? Well,
I'm
he's
here.
waiting for somebody to show up. They must have finally showed up. I wanted to hear his audio. He sounds just like he's in front of his radio.
Go ahead, Bill. Ray, stop for just a second. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Everywhere she went, nobody would want to know. Anyway, so, I'm remoting in from work, so on a $12 headphone mic set up here, so I sent you a picture. I don't know if you got it or not.
I didn't look. I'll look, though. I'll get my phone and look.
But if you were mobile, that would be pretty adequate.
Yeah, it would be. It probably would be just fine. If you were, depending how much noise you have, I mean, it might be too sensitive. There's a million different things that could go wrong. But it sounds like, it sounds great. I think he's done a great job with it, no doubt about it.
Sounds a lot better than what's-his-name used to sound.
Well, he sounds a lot better than a lot of people do when they're running a regular station.
Who was that cop that used to come in all the time? What was his name?
Charles.
Yeah, Charles. He never sounded very good.
Well, don't forget, he was always on his cell phone in the city where all that interference is, and he'd always drop out a signal. He'd always get all pixely sounding or whatever you call it.
AT5K for 925 on QTH.
Well,
that's a good one for you, Ray.
They're only 1,200 new, aren't they?
I think 14 now. This is the newer one.
That's the one with the AT5K on the right side, right?
Yeah.
I don't have enough room for it.
Then you don't have enough power for it yet either, but one of these days you're going to.
No, that's okay. I'll stick with my little Palstar. I love it.
It's a great beginner tuner. I mean, there's no question about it. It's a nice, if you've got a beginner amp, you got a beginner tuner, perfect setup. You know, if you buy a couple, 2, 3 of those Palstars and you start combining them, that tuner's not going to be adequate.
But I would never buy more than 2, so then it's adequate enough.
Yeah, I guess you're good enough there, sure.
Hey, that reminds me, I still have my 6-meter amp I want to sell. Or for the other jerk that's in here, I got it can also go on 10, 11, and 12.
Who you calling a jerk tonight?
That meathead that comes in here once in a while was in here shooting his mouth off. He sits here and listens to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but he's too stupid to get a ham license.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know why he even, obviously he doesn't, whatever. Let's leave it alone. Drop it. So, Bill, how's work going today? You're at work and you're using the radio.
Yeah, I'm waiting for, we're switching our web filtering over to a managed service, so they're going to be here to put in, they put in a router, basically, so all our web filtering is going to be remotely managed.
Are you getting paid by the hour?
I'll get comp time. I'll probably end up taking a half a day on Friday.
So, hey, listen, here's a question. You're into your internet right now. You're not into your phone, right?
Yeah, I'm working over our fiber line.
Yeah, see, that's a big difference. Tomorrow you got to come in here over your telephone.
Yeah, I can actually switch it right over to the cell phone here. Give me about a minute and I'll switch it over.
Okay.
Hey, when the guy bought the car, we didn't have the boot. When you put the convertible top down, there's allegedly a boot that snaps over it, And I looked all over and I couldn't find it. And I told him, I said, I've never seen the boot in my whole life. I said, are you sure that it comes with the car? And he said, I'm positive. He said, definitely it comes with the car. I said, well, could it be hidden inside the trunk somewhere and we just don't know where it is? And he goes, well, I don't know. I'll have to try to find it. So I thought about it overnight, and I went down to my mother's house today, and they have the whole house ripped apart, and they're putting siding on it, and the whole inside's gutted. It's really kind of neat to watch it. And the guy knows who I am. Hey, Ray, how you doing? I said, yeah, I sold the car, and I said, I kind of think the boot for the convertible top might be down here in the garage. Do you mind if I look? He goes, no, go ahead. So I went out to, and I thought I remember seeing something that might have looked like that. I went right to it, and it was out there. I got it, brand new, all wrapped up in the original plastic.
How much did you charge the guy extra for it?
I should. The guy got a hell of a deal on that car. He got a real good deal on it.
You haven't gotten paid yet?
Yep, I'm paid.
Oh, nice, man! You got all kinds of money now. We can. Why don't you buy a decent amplifier? Get a hold of Palstar. Get a couple of those amps coming.
Because my single amp can do the same power as two of those.
Yeah, but it can't do it the same way. And then look at it, as old as you are, think about it. Before long, you're going to be drooling into that thing or, peeing in it, thinking you woke up in the middle of the night, it's a bathroom or something. Just get rid of the thing.
Last night he was too tired to turn it on.
Yeah, those big heavy switches and all that.
Just get me a set of spare tubes. That's the only thing I have to worry about, okay? I want to have a spare tube. Then I can run the thing up and run it like it should be run. Run it like with all the guys with the beginner amps can't.
You would think he would say to me one time in his life, would you please get me some spare tubes, or would you please get me something? But no, it's never. It's, hey, just give me this and just give me that.
Hey, did you guys play beginner amp? Here I am, KT2D. Good evening.
Hey, Tootie.
Hello, Bob. It's so nice to have you in here instead of a guy like Randy.
I don't want to get between you two.
Where's Bill?
Can't you hear him? He's on his phone now.
I can't hear him.
That's the point.
Come on, Bill. Probably got to pay long-distance charges or something.
Yeah, Bob, today was an awful nice day to be working on an antenna.
Yeah, it was. Well, here it was drizzly and nasty here, and then at about 7 o'clock, the sun came out just as it was setting. Peeked underneath the clouds, but I was locked up at work all day, so it's gonna be more than likely it's going to be the weekend if the weather can break a little bit. But fired up for it. It'd be interesting to see how it works out. If it works out as good as that other guy's stuff did on 20.
Well, Bill, was that you? Nothing from Bill yet. Do you know what's going on, Tootie? Bill's remoting in from work, and now he's switching from his computer over to his telephone. I want to hear how he sounds. He sounds perfect when he's on his work computer.
Yeah, I came down just as you were talking to him. He had great audio, good signal, and great audio, and he.
Here's one of your buddies, Ray. Just ignore this guy.
How long can a loop be?
Depends on how strong the wire is and what you're holding it up with.
So what you're saying is the longer the better?
I'm not saying that at all. I've heard people try to make them longer, make them 2 wavelengths and 3 wavelengths, but I know those same exact people that I have some faith in, after doing that, decided to go back to a single wavelength loop, and it was better, they said. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I've heard that several times, too. Same thing.
It's about resonance.
So 1 wavelength is optimum.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, the 1 wavelength gives you a nice, even distribution. You get a little higher when you look at going to higher frequencies with, like with me with an 80-meter loop, or with, let's just take Carl's 160-meter loop. On 80 meters now, he gets nodes and lobes, so you get a lot of gain on certain points, but you get some spots that really drop down. So I guess that's your trade-off.
The perfect antenna is a full wave loop, probably at 125 feet above the ground. That would probably be as perfect as you're ever going to get on this band.
And you can feed it with whatever length of feed line?
Feed it with open line.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how long?
No, not at all, because open wire line has virtually no loss at all. I mean, you could feed it with 1,000 feet of open wire line. You're only going to have 2 or 3 tenths of a dB in loss.
Well, I guess that answers my question. Thank you.
With your tuner, you have a AT5K, right?
Yes.
Now, if you got an AT5K, then I don't think the length of the feed line is really going to make any difference.
What about distance from the ground?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The higher, the beauty of the loop is it's omnidirectional. If you put once a dipole goes over a quarter wavelength, it starts to get very directional. If you put a dipole up at, say, a wavelength and a half, off the ends, you're going to be down probably 20 dB off the ends of the antenna, where it'll be fine off the flat sides. But a loop at the same height is going to give you a perfectly omnidirectional signal in all directions.
I think it's a little directional where it's fed. I think that does mess with the pattern a little bit.
I don't think so. I think if a loop is put up properly and that feed line comes straight, if you had the loop at 100 feet or 125 feet and that wire came straight down, I don't think it's going to affect it. I think it only gets iffy when it's down close to the ground and the feed line comes away at a 30-degree angle or something.
Okay, well, thanks for that. In case anybody's interested, 7,600 on QTH for $1,300 plus a couple extra things.
Boy, this tuner, since I greased it, Randy, what a difference in the way that thing turns. That crank turns so easy now, it's almost like it's not attached.
Okay, so I want you to turn it 1 revolution and then let go and see how many numbers up it goes.
1 complete revolution. It's on 80 right now. Okay, I'll turn it 1. You ready?
Ready.
$90. So it went up 10 numbers.
Yeah, that's better than mine did. I just did it from 40, and it went 80. No, mine killed yours. I went from 40 to 70.
Wow, that's got like real gears in it, man.
No, it's not. It's just probably I spun it faster. It all depends on how much of a head start you give it.
Well, mine went from 80 to 90 with 1 revolution.
I went from... Yes, I got to get it back now. There we go. I went from 47 to 72.
Right, well, I'm at 80 right now.
How's your tune?
My tune is at 19.5.
No, I mean, how is your SWR? If you spun it and you changed your SWR now?
I brought it back. I brought it back to 80. It's flat. It doesn't. The reflected needle doesn't even move. Believe me, I would not trade this tuner for any other tuner out there.
You got to do the 3-minute test now.
I've done that on this. It does. Nothing gets hot. Nothing even gets warm.
Okay, guys, so going through the phone is out. I don't have a strong enough signal here. Barely even I've got G3 connection, so that's not flying. So, anyways, I'm out in the middle of East Bum, whatever you want to call it. So, anyways, I'll give it a try tomorrow when I'm actually in coverage area. You know, the phone is actually I think it only uses it's 8 megabytes per second for everything. Not a very heavy load.
That's the problem using the phone right there. They work great through computers and all that, but if you're out driving around, you know, you've been on telephones long enough, everybody, so you know well how many times you drop out and stuff like that.
Yeah, but isn't 5G supposed to get rid of that?
Well, it probably will, but when 5G gets here, how many years is that?
Oh, probably a good 5.
Yeah, they'll introduce it in 5 and get it fixed in 10.
No, it's actually running in some cities already.
Yeah, so Randy, that laptop, I have it dedicated just for Flex Radio. I'm actually going to build a sticker decal for the back of it that says Flex Radio with my call sign on it.
Oh, goody.
I actually, today, I was sitting around with nothing to do. I unbolted the old phone system out of my Impala and threw it in the trash. Because that was 2G.
The old trash can. You're really getting the money out of that trash delivery, aren't you? How long is it going to be before you to your neighbor's house looking through their trash so you can throw stuff into your can?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be able to fill it this month, but I don't know. When the BMW gets out of there, there's a shelf over there that needs a little attention, so I'll keep on working at it.
So, question, do you think I should invest in a higher quality mic headset, or is this good enough?
I'd say that's good enough.
I would agree. I would say it's well good enough.
Well, that just saved me a lot of money then.
Just send it to us.
Now, what are you running for a radio at your house?
It's the Flex 6500 going into, thank God I had that auto tuner, the HF auto tuner, and this, it's like a pair, and they were meant to be together.
Yeah, well, that's the whole object of having that setup. So can you tune the tuner from your phone there?
Yeah, I hit tune on the interface here, and it sends 15 watts out to the tuner, and it tunes right up, and then I'm off and running.
Yeah, cool. That's great.
The only thing I haven't done is I don't feel comfortable running the amplifier remote low.
Well, when you get your Palstar LA1K, they all go together.
Or I can just get the Flex amp system.
Which is
Don't
the
even
biggest
say
pile of
something
garbage
like
they
that.
ever made.
I didn't think they released it yet.
Yeah, they did. They had to take them all back because they were crap.
My Palstar costs more than my house.
Yeah, but the Palstar is a good amp. All the other ones don't appear to work very well.
Yeah, I've just been checking them out. It's pretty impressive, for sure.
See, all I really would need to do is have a way of remotely turning on the amp and just have it pre-tuned to, I'd only have it tuned to one place anyways. I mean, where else would you want to tune it to anyways? Code Harbor, right?
Yeah, but if you had the Palstar, you could go to any band you want, and the tuner, the auto tuner, and the amp, they just track each other.
So the amp doesn't have a tuner built in. You still have to use the HF auto separate.
Right. You know, who in their right mind would have an amp with a tuner built in? Just think about it, because then you have coax connectors on the back, and what are you going to do with that? Well, unfortunately, I take it back, because the HF Auto's the same deal. He used to make an HF, his whole auto-tune amp had studs on the back. I'll never understand why he took the studs off.
All you got to do is get a 4-to-1 Ballon and just hardwire it to the back of it, and then go that way.
You still have to have a piece of coax cable.
No, you could hardwire it with a connector right from one to the other. Just use a right angle connector.
You could use a straight connector. They make a double male, but the problem with that is that's the weak link right there at the connector.
Yeah, but you've got the same thing going if you have the balance inside of the tuner also, don't you?
No, not at all, because the balun inside the tuner goes to the studs, and it doesn't have the that same, say, like a bottleneck right at that point. Believe me, we have the world-renowned expert with that system here, Randy, and ask him how many times he burned up that connector.
It has happened.
But the point is, if you buy the right tuner, if you buy a Palstar tuner, the balun's not on the output, it's on the input, so you don't run into that problem either.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't mention that part.
That's why all the guys that are cool have Palstar tuners, because the balun's on the input. Where it belongs.
The one downfall to operating remotely is I got to figure out how to hook up a remote PTT switch, because I have to click on a little button every time I want to talk, and it's a pain.
I'm sure you'll figure that out. Is Bruce still in here and Tootie?
Yep, Tootie's here.
All right, well, jump in there. Don't be afraid to say something. Last night you weren't very talkative.
Yeah, I was pretty tired. I had a long day, and today was I'm a little better, but I'll be full speed tomorrow.
Hey, when you were in the service, were you in those tanks?
Yeah, I was indeed. It depends on your position. So when I was a platoon leader, I was in a tank. When I was a company commander and a battalion executive officer, I was in a tank. When I was a brigade operations officer, I was in an armored personnel carrier, like a command post.
So when you were in the tank, what was your position? You weren't loading the gun. Were you driving the tank?
No, you have a driver do that. I was a tank commander.
Well, okay, so then the question is, what does the tank commander do? Pick out the targets?
Yep, so the four-man crew, driver, gunner, loader, tank commander. So the tank commander is overall in charge of the tank, its employment, tells the driver, go here, go there, go right, go left, because they can't see much, and so, they go along. The commander also, in addition to commanding the tank, if you're a battalion executive officer, you're controlling part of the battalion. When you engage targets, you're the one who issues the fire commands, whether it's a machine gun target or a main gun target, to the gunner, and so that he engages it. And if need be, you can fire all of the turreted weapons, everything except the loader's machine gun. There's a machine gun on the loader's hatch. You can fire them all from the commander station as well if you need to, but that's generally what you do.
The 50 caliber that's on the outside, does that have to be manned from outside? Does a guy have to get outside the tank to use that?
No, you can shoot. There's a periscope. You can shoot it from inside, but the rub is you've only got 85 rounds of ammo in the ammo box. So once that's gone, then you got to expose yourself to load it.
Is that all it ever holds? Is 85 rounds?
Yeah, it's standard 50 cal ammo box.
What's the rate of fire on those? I mean, is that the same gun they used to use during World War II inside the planes? Because they quote that as 550 rounds per minute. Is that correct?
Yep, that's pretty close. It's the Browning M2. The M2 Browning, and it's been around since I think like 1917 or something like that, or a little later. Kind of a derivative of the M19 Browning, which was the old 30-06. And so, but yeah, this is a 50 cal M2 heavy barrel. They had M5 for a while on the M60 series tank, which is a smaller, lighter, had more moving parts, but it's hard to beat the M2. The thing is it's like a 1911. It's just indestructible, it's reliable, and it's just been working for decades.
And you can aim it from inside the tank through, say, a periscope.
Yeah, you have a periscope with a ballistic reticle, and so that's how you shoot it.
And it follows wherever you point it, the gun moves?
Yeah, the commander's cupola is will traverse independently, so you move that independent of the main gun. So you just lay the targets at 800 meters, you put the 800 meter dot on there and pull the trigger.
Does that tank also have a smaller machine gun or another? How many machine guns are on the tank?
There's 3, so you have, it's an M240, which is basically a Belgian Mag 58. FN makes it, Mag 58, real good machine gun. It is a 7.62, it's called the M240, so that's mounted coaxially with the main gun. And that thing, you got about 5,000 rounds of ammo, so it's a very, very handy thing. Then on the loader's hatch, there's a spindle mount with another M240 that he can fire, from the hatch or something. But the coaxial one is linked to the main gun, and so you can shoot it from the gunner station or the commander station.
Just the other day, just within the last week, I finally saw where they were showing loading a P-51 Mustang, and they said that the guns hold 750 rounds per gun.
Yeah, I bet they go through those pretty quick.
Well, they got a minute. They have a solid minute. That's a lot of shooting if you think about it, because the things, 6 guns are firing 3,000 rounds a minute. And, yeah, I'm sure they could go through it pretty quick, but you got to learn to conserve.
Yeah, that's right. So with the 50 cal, you basically shoot that about 5-round bursts. With the coax, 20 to 25 round bursts is what we do.
Does the Abrams tank have missiles on it?
No. The ones that had missiles were the Sheriff. It was an armored reconnaissance vehicle, 70s vintage, late 60s, early 70s, had a 152 gun launcher. And then that same gun launcher was on the M60A2. So it was a 152 millimeter conventional round, but it was a fairly low velocity round. But it also fired a Shillelagh missile, which was infrared tracked, so it was optically tracked and optically guided. They used modulated infrared, and so, like a tow missile, the gunner just kept the crosshairs on the target, and the missile followed the crosshairs.
Randy, this sounds like it's more fun than you could ever have in your whole life. Let's go.
I want to take one of those to that island where they have all the dinosaurs.
Yeah, we'll form an Eagle Brigade and go see what we can do if the Israelis need any help.
What do the Israelis have for tanks?
They have their own. It's called the Merkava, and it's kind of, like certain tanks are kind of designed for certain things. Like the Abrams was designed for pretty much tank-on-tank, Soviet, Central Europe kind of battle. The German tanks are a lot lighter. They're more mobile, but they're a continental defense army, basically, or they were. The Merkava it can actually carry people, so it's an all-around tank and is designed more for the Israeli type of war. They're going tank on tank. They're in cities. They're got to be all over the place, and they carry dismounted infantry in it as well. So it's a fairly big tank. It's a good one.
They don't have any Abrams?
No, not many countries like the Abrams, I think. I don't know if it's because I got to take a look at the foreign military sales. I think the Egyptians, believe it or not, may have some. I think the Kuwaitis have some, but they're expensive tanks to operate because with the gas turbine they use a lot of fuel, and there may be a few other things that we don't. I think the Saudis have. I got to look. It's been a while since we've done that. It was years ago.
Is this a closely guarded secret, or? I mean, I see those things going across the desert, and they're just blowing a damn dust storm like you can't believe. Now, if you're following a tank with a tank, how the hell do you keep all that sand out of the engine?
They got a pretty good designed. They have like a cyclonic vortex system where it uses centrifugal force, so it spins around like the Dyson vacuum cleaners actually. So they got a pre-cleaner, and then they've got pretty extensive. So they got a pre-cleaner that'll pull a lot of the heavy particles out, and shielding the intakes to try to get out of the big dust cloud. And the other thing is you try to follow in the dust cloud. Usually when you're moving along, your driver's smart enough to stay back out of the dust cloud once they're well trained.
And that cyclonic air filter, pre-filter, works really good. We use those on our forklifts and stuff at a smaller rate. They don't breathe as heavy as that tank is, but they do work well. And I know the tank ones, you can empty them as you're flying, as you're cruising. They'll build up with sand, and you open a hatch and they drop out, and then they close up and they go back to working again. But they do work well.
Yeah, that's exactly how they work, and they work amazingly well. When the Abrams was going through what they call OT, operational testing, so they'll do development testing where they'll go on like a proving ground and they'll do a bunch of things just to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Climb a 60-degree slope, make sure you can go on a 20-degree tilt without riding off the tracks, and the turret's traverse rate, the gun does what it's supposed to do. So all of those developmental things for the performance of it, and then they give it to soldiers for operational testing, and they did that at Fort Bliss, Texas, which is outside El Paso by White Sands Missile Range, and it's a desert, it's sandy, and they had a heck of a time with the initial filter designs, and then so they evolved into having these Vortex cyclonic pre-filters, and then used up the main filters, and so they perfected it good, and and they're self-cleaning and all of that. So I was amazed at how well they worked.
Oh, K2ZVP.
A whole hell of a lot different than the Bulldog and the Patton I run.
The Walker Bulldog?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite tank stock.
Hey, Randy, just think how much fun it would be to shoot a pumpkin at 2 miles.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be kind of fun just to tool around one of those things, I don't know. I just think that would be so much fun. I don't understand, though, why they have to have somebody telling them which direction to go in and turn left and turn right.
Can't see. If you get a chance to stop by the Arsenal, we got one. There's a couple of them here, and I don't know if I can get you into it, but I'll see what I can do. But you can sit in the driver's compartment and look out of those vision blocks. You cannot see diddly. And particularly when you're going cross country, you get bounced around. It is a fairly comfortable tank, but you your vision is limited. Now they're getting better. They're with all the stuff that you see with glass cockpits that they're doing with jet fighters. They're doing a lot of fiber stuff now. So the old days of glass optics are giving way to electronic optics, and there's no more lenses. It's all cameras and CCDs and little displays there. So it does a number of things, but so they're able to get seeing a lot of better vision for the drivers. But in the days that I was in there, they just had 3 periscopes that they looked out at. So you got a little 20-degree slit, that you're looking out, so your visibility is severely limited. And you sit very low, and the front slope is right there, so you can't see anything closer than about 15 feet in front of you.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking. With nowadays, with all the camera technology, and they're flying planes all over the world without ever leaving Syracuse, New York. So you could mount, cameras out there all over the place, small lenses, and monitors inside, and you could simulate what if you like you had your head above the thing looking around. So there's absolutely got to be a way they can get the vision part improved,
Oh, they're doing all that. They're doing it. It's just that the speed of innovation in defense things is, at least with existing systems and retrofitting existing systems, is not as fast as, say, the iPhones, okay? For a number of reasons. But they're doing a lot of that. The other big improvements they're making is digitally linking all of these systems together. So in the old days, I got my 5 tanks, I got a map with a grease pencil, and I'm looking, and I have to have visual contact with them. Now I got a flat screen in there with a display that shows where every vehicle is, on a terrain display. So it's pretty freaking good, as well as a lot of the health monitoring. The status of the tank. Is it running hot? Is it doing whatever? And so it really helps in monitoring fuel status electronically. It just helps. It's changed quite a bit.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of fiber optics in that thing. A lot of very sensitive equipment too that gets jostled around and has to be built. Just think, Ray, they can't put a screen in an ICOM that doesn't go black, but they put all these screens in these tanks that can take jostling around or climbing over massive, boulders and things and getting shot at.
Well, ICOM ought to take a lesson from them.
Yeah, the thing that amazes me, though, is they have shock mounted, they're vibration isolated, supposedly mounts the spring, and vibration dampers. But the abuse, the dust and the temperature changes and the banging around and just the physical abuse that the radios take and still work, that just boggles me. Now, they're all hardened, so they're not cheap.
Yeah, they got to be hardened. Okay, do you know the specs? How close can one of those tanks survive a nuclear weapon?
There are tables for it. I don't know offhand, depending on the yield and all of that stuff. They're not bad. I mean, for tactical nuclear weapons, they make a lot of noise about them. But they're smaller. They're in less than a kiloton range, and even smaller than that. And a lot of the initial blast area is. That doesn't really that causes casualties, but the real casualties are outside the initial blast area, that it picks up debris like glass and window. When I was a kid, the duck and cover that everybody makes fun of. Well, but the duck and cover wasn't to protect you from the fireball in the initial blast. It was all of the debris that flies around, glass and wood and all of those become lethal fragments, and that's what you're trying to protect yourself from. So for the radiation and the blast and all of that stuff, they're pretty survivable. How close, I don't know, and I haven't thought about that in years.
Randy, can you bring one to the local gun club to try her out?
Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Pull up in that baby. You win all the big gun awards for that. I was going to tell you, the old companies started their auctions already.
Oh, yeah? Wow. That was fast.
Are they selling off equipment, Randy?
Yeah. Well, they've got so they bought this big company back in the day and thought it was simple to do, and they bought pits and ready-mix plants and built a bunch of new ones, and they were going to turn the world on its ear. Anyway, they found out that they weren't smart enough to stay in these businesses that looked awful simple to run, and so now they've been calling all the producers in the area and saying, listen, we got stuff. We're going to be signing the auction contract on Friday. So if you want anything before the auction, come get it. And so far as I know, nobody's gone. And they called my son, and that was an interesting conversation. But anyway, they got stuff on Facebook even. They're selling off concrete blocks and these big like mafia blocks, they call them, and Jersey barriers and all this stuff. And they have the block plan auction is coming up, I guess, pretty quickly. And then May 27th, they have 150 pieces of equipment they're selling off. Loaders and backhoes and bulldozers and skid steers and flatbeds and flowboys and dump trucks, and they got a big sell-off coming.
Wow, are these the guys that were bad-mouthing your son?
These are, in fact, and there's actually the guy and the owner were in the room today when they called them, and they said, hey, Code, how's it going? We got all this stuff for sale. You must have somebody in line, right? And Cody says, well, James, if you remember correctly, I had a guy the day, he was going to give you $100,000 for all that equipment in Rome, and then you called him and started bad-mouthing me, and then he called me, and then I told him, do what you want, but I'd tell him to go F off, and that's basically what they did. So he says, that day you lost $100,000.
It's a real mystery how the company went under.
They're really, 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 really bad people. They're very, very bad. And the problem is they think they're way smarter than everybody else, and they think it's okay to screw people over. See, fundamentally that's the problem right there. They feel that it's okay to screw somebody else over. No matter what it takes, as long as we make profit, doesn't matter who you screw over. Well, ultimately, they found out that that just is not the way to make it happen.
Yeah, they sound like low-life scumbags. Yeah. All right, I'm in a business that depends on customer satisfaction, so I'm going to screw my customers. Yeah, these guys, apparently their confidence exceeds their abilities.
Yeah, without question. Well, I mean, I've been in meetings with these guys when they talk about changing the sand in mixes. Give them for the testing, use this sand, but when you do the run, use that sand because that sand doesn't pass. And I know Leo Kanowski, he quit because of this situation, and now they've got a lot of concrete failing, and they're complaining about the company they got the sand from, the state-approved sand, and that company is not one you want to screw with. So they did a bunch of cores and a bunch of different concrete sites that they knew were failing, that they had gotten a letter that the sand was no good, and they did petrographic analysis of the sand, and it turns out only about 20% of the sand that was in the concrete is actually from the state lab. About 60% was from the bad pit, and that they could identify, and some of it was from pits they don't even know where they came from. They can't identify every little piece of sand. So yeah, there's lawsuits happening and coming, and like I said, the ex-CFO said that they'll be lucky if the owner doesn't wind up in jail.
Yeah, I mean, that's just fraud. There's no other word for it. It's fraud.
Yeah, and that concrete, some of that concrete goes over bridges. I mean, it's just really, really bad. Really, really bad what they're doing, and well, it's going to come back to bite them right on the ass.
Concrete concrete and bridges, and you're knowingly putting inferior product out there on the spec, that's criminal negligence. No doubt about it.
Right, and you never screw with the state or the feds.
By the way, I heard today, and I didn't fact check it, but the guy that told me it was pretty good. I was telling about Trump and the number of counties, kind of off topic, but the number of counties that Trump won versus Hillary, Rodham. And he said, yeah, Cuomo, the governor of New York, only won 3 counties in New York. The other guy who ran against him, I can't even remember his name, won all the rest. Cuomo won 3, but that carried the vote.
Yeah, doesn't that stink?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it really does. The more I see stuff like that, the more I appreciate the Electoral College, and it ought to be universal. So you can actually combine 2 amplifiers, huh?
Well, yeah. That's what kind of what the Ameritron was it the 1300? I think that's got 2 power, and it's got a combiner built into the center, and but they have like the Palstar. They built a combiner now that they can put 2 of their Palstars together.
Or more.
I guess that's what's essentially happening inside an amp with multiple tubes, right?
Yeah, basically, but the one Randy was talking about, the 1300 or 1306, that's 2 600-watt amps, basically power combined, and you can do the same. Palstar's doing the same thing except just externally, but you can do more. You can do as many as you want. You could do 2, you could do 4, you could probably do 3, although I think that would be a pain in the neck, but you could do 2, 4, 8, 16, many as you want. Yeah, I hear you, Bob. I don't know if anybody else does, but go ahead.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. It's a little noisy here tonight. Are you running your amp?
No, I didn't run the amp.
Okay, well, yeah, you're like a little bit over an S9. Pretty close to the noise. It's pretty noisy here tonight.
My noise is about 10 to 12 over S9.
I don't have a problem with the static. I can see, when you have power poles in the area that are sync. I didn't bother get on. I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Okay, well, hello back, and I don't know, Randy, are you hearing Bob?
I know he's there, but I can only pick out a word here or a word there.
I can hear him okay, Judy, and my noise level here is lower. It's about an S6 or 7 for some reason, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, Roger. So I'll bid everybody a good night and 73s, and hopefully there'll be another night where I'll have my amp on.
Okay, Bob, see you later then, 7-3.
Take care. KD2 on the next out.
Boy, I guess it's going to be a late night. They're still not here yet.
If I was you, I'd call them up, because maybe they're not coming. Maybe this is a screw-up.
No, they're at one of our other schools with one of the other techs right now.
Oh, okay. So Bob, the other Bob, military Bob, did you ever drive an Abrams tank?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't my job, but part of the training of it, I drove it, I loaded, I got it. You really need to be trained to do everything. Let's see, pretty much when I was a company executive officer, you're the motor officer, so every other vehicle, an M88 recovery vehicle, all the trucks I drove. Got to drive a Hammett and a few other things when I was a trainer, so those are the big cargo and fuel trucks. 113s I did. Never drove Bradley. Didn't have a desire to. Yeah, so short answer, yeah.
I'm telling you. Come on, Randy. Where do we join?
One of the problems with the Abrams is they designed it, the driver is almost laying down, and the steering is a T-bar with a twist grip like a motorcycle on it. That's where the throttle is, and so he just has a brake pedal. But they were having trouble with the original drivers from the M60 series tanks, which sit more upright and it's more uncomfortable as, in long road marches and along things like that. The guys get tired and you come to a stop, the drivers would just fall asleep. They just conk right out. You had to kick them to wake them up and get moving. So, but it's nice there. It's very much like a boat on waves, because the thing's 70 tons, and when you're going cross country, it just kind of has a natural rhythm to it as it goes up and down. So it's like going through waves on a boat. That's about the best thing I can use to describe it.
Can we sign up for like a week?
No, they do have orientations. They're kind of they're a little skittish about having untrained people, even as skilled as you and Randy are on many things. I think it's more of a liability thing because they're dangerous things. You got to be careful because you grab one of the controls and that gun moves, bam, elevates and depresses instantly, and it doesn't. It weighs 6,000 pounds. It doesn't care what's in its way. So that part of it's a little neater. And I don't know if they still do that stuff. We used to stuff like on Family Day. We'd have people come out very supervised and let them ride around in one and things like that. But I don't know if there's like an orientation. Usually when there's Army units and there's an open house, they'll put on a firing demonstration like in Fort Benning or, one of the places where there's Army units. So, but we can get you, if you come here, I'll talk to the guys that have the Abrams here and just see what limitations there may be. And if you're in the area, might be worth just climbing in one, looking through the sites and getting an idea what it's like inside one.
Are you kidding? You get a couple of guys like Ray and I inside of that thing for a week, they'd have to rewrite the book on what that thing could do. We'd get it doing things that it never was intended to do.
Yeah, I got to check on it because every year things seem to get harder and harder every year. There's an accident in Washington, so everything gets cracked down. But I'll see what we can do. And, we'll just make sure there's not enough gas in it to get you off post.
Hey, Randy, did you ever shoot your gun straight up in the air and then listen for the bullet to come down?
Oh, no. Well, I can't say that. Yes, I have. It was a BB gun. Never with anything that would hurt me.
Believe me, it's really, really, really hard to get a bullet to even come down close enough to where you can hear it hit the ground. It's very rare.
This is KC1DWJ.
How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing very well. A few years back, I decided to invest in a 30 caliber.
30 caliber what?
Wait a minute. I just I was listening to you guys, and I dozed off, so let me come back to life here. So I purchased a, let me think. It was a custom-made out of Wisconsin. It is I can't remember the caliber. Is it 30 millimeter?
It's not 30 millimeter.
No, that's huge. I know. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me think. What are the machine guns? What caliber is that?
308.
No, not 308.
There's a 50 and a 30.
Yes, 50 caliber. Anyway. So I invested in a 50 caliber. I don't know what I was going to do with it, but I thought it'd be fun, and I was looking online. So if you shoot that at a 45-degree angle into the air, guess how far that projectile will go?
A 50 caliber probably go. Let me think about this for a second. I would say 6 to 7 miles.
Very good, Ray, as usual. 5 miles. That's amazing. So my friends called it my latte shooter. And the reason for that is because every time I pull the trigger, it'd be about the cost of a Starbucks latte. Even inexpensive ammunition is around $3 a round.
Yeah, but when a Bigfoot's chasing you, the $3, you won't even worry about it.
Absolutely. No, like you, Ray, I've ended up collecting some firearms. I have a couple of 3 Brownings, semi-auto, an over and under, and a trap gun. Then I got myself a couple of, I guess a nice Smith & Wesson revolvers. So it's a lot of fun. I don't shoot them often, but they're fun. Good hobby.
Yeah, and you can protect yourself.
Yeah, I know, but as you probably can imagine, if I ended up trying to protect myself of some hoodlum breaking into my house, I ended up going to jail, and they'd be ending up owning my house.
Well, there's a real simple way around that. When you shoot them, nobody knows about it. You put on some rubber gloves, wrap them up in a blanket very carefully, don't get any DNA on them, drive them 100 miles away into the deepest woods you can find and roll them down some ravine.
Ray, it sounds like you have experience.
No, but I already made up my mind. If I ever shot somebody in my house like that, I know exactly where I'd get rid of them. I wouldn't even think about it because they only charge you with illegal disposal of a body. They're not going to charge you for murder because you didn't murder them, but why go through the hassle?
Very good.
The way I look at it, and of course every one of us here would look at it the same way, if somebody's in your house in the middle of the night, uninvited, and you don't know who they are, you might as well just shoot them because it's either going to be you or them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's Ray's cement mixes can really come in handy for body disposals, right?
See that? See that, Randy? You never thought of that, did you?
No, Ray, never.
Hey, gee, Randy, I can't believe it. I got here at 3 in the morning and you're already here running the mixer?
Making mafia blocks.
Hello, Bruce.
Good evening.
It's the Jimmy Hoffa block.
Poor Jimmy.
I wonder how much harder body and cement makes cement.
Makes it weaker.
How much horsepower is the motor that drives of that big mixer you have?
Okay, the electric motor?
Yes.
60 horsepower.
60?
Roger.
Yeah, because my friend's got a big dough mixer, and I think the motor he has is like 50 horsepower. So the dough, it probably takes as much to mix dough as it does cement.
Well, if you mix enough dough, I'm sure it does. You know, that's even stickier. Probably, I imagine that takes even more. If you think about the consistency of dough, it just stretches and pulls, and concrete, when you're mixing that, it just flops around and moves out of its way.
You know, I was following a cement mixer the other day, and you know the way my brain works. What happens if you loaded a cement mixer with cement and you just put it on the road and you drove it to California with that barrel spinning? Would the cement still just get hard?
Oh, yeah, it sure would. It's concrete. But yes, it would. It would get... some of it would fall apart and stay moving, but most of it would not. Because they have a barrel, they have fins on the outside. They have no way to break that concrete up. Like a plant mixer, okay, we have a shaft with paddles on the shaft on the outside. You know, they go around the outside of the mixer. So that always picks and lifts, and that would get the air out of it. And I've had to do this before. When we broke the plant, we were broke down with the plant, and I left the mixer running and just to knock the air out of it, and it did. It knocked the air and water right out of it. And next thing you know, I had just dry aggregate all mixed up. You know, super drag. But with a ready-mix truck, they have fins on the outside of the barrel, and they don't do as good of a job lifting and mixing, and they would just eventually get all stuck to the blades, and then you'd have 10 yards on in the barrel.
And you'd never be able to get that out, right?
Oh yeah, you got to jackhammer it out.
Yeah, but 10 cubic yards? Oh my God, what a job!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a crew from Texas that go around plant to plant, and they jackhammer everybody's barrels, and my son's jackhammered 27 trucks for Cranesville. He and another guy did 27 trucks in like 2 months when they were working for them. But there's a Texas crew, a bunch of Mexican guys. They come in and they travel all over the country, and they knock the concrete out of barrels. They do a great job.
See, there's the guys we should let across the border.
Boy, that has got to be just brutal work.
I know one guy, Eric Rosinskis, he's about as dumb as a glass of water, and he was inside of a barrel in the middle of the night, you know, jackhammer. He's supposed to be there early in the morning, and so he gets there, and he jackhammers a little bit, and what's he do? He falls asleep. And he's got the barrel, okay, in the mixer with the hatch open. He's inside, and he's in on the passenger side if there was a passenger side. This is a center drive mixer, but anyway, so he's got the air hose up in there with the hammer and all the concrete, and he falls asleep. And how long does he sleep? Long enough for the generator, the air compressor, to run out of fuel. The air compressor runs out of fuel, and so the truck driver gets there at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, walks in, punches in, and doesn't do any kind of a pre-trip, just climbs up into his mixer, starts it up, turns it on, and as soon as you start the engine, the barrel starts moving. Well, here's Bonehead inside the mixer with the jackhammer, weighs about 40 pounds, and the air hose is whipping around the outside, and then the truck driver finally realizes he sees this hose whipping around, ba-bam, 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 and he shuts it off real quick, and there's Haji. I call him Haji. There's Haji in the mixer. He comes crawling out, all beat up, all cut up, all smashed up, bruised up, cuts, you know, shirts all tore, you know. Jesus Christ! He starts yelling at the driver for starting the truck.
That could have got ugly fast, man. What happens if that driver just said they had to go to another place and he drove the truck 20 miles? He'd be dead.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he'd be dead for sure. And now, see, what happened was they didn't have nobody chained the barrel. The first thing you got to do is chain the barrel so it can't move. And then you take the key out of the truck, you know, and you put a sign on the dashboard of the truck, person in the barrel. You know, you have all these safety things that you got to do, which, of course, nobody did any of it. The truck driver didn't do a safety pre-trip. He would have walked around the truck, looked at the tires, realized there's an air hose sticking in the truck. There must be somebody in there, right? So everybody did everything wrong that day.
Oh, that's that classic one that I saw on TV with the jet. commercial jetliner takes off and ends up blowing all 3 engines because the literally 6 or 7 different steps to put the O-rings in onto the plugs when they change the oil. Just like you said, one guy pulls the plugs out, he signs. The next guy removes the O-rings, he signs. The third guy inspects the plug and he reinstalls the O-rings, and then he signs. The second guy re-signs that the O-rings are on the plug, and the third guy, the mechanic, signs when he puts the O-rings back into the engine. Okay, it's like 6 steps, and all 3 plugs had no O-rings on them.
Yeah, it's amazing when that happens. I mean, I've bypassed some safety steps earlier in my life, but I don't do that too much anymore. I mean, I don't want to die at a plant, you know. So, and I especially don't want my guys to die at a plant. But the same exact guy, Haji, the same exact guy is in a cement silo now. This is a cement silo. He's got a big hatch in the top. And he climbs in, and now the silo has a 3-inch or a 4-inch line that you plug into, a 5 or 6-inch line in some silos, but you plug a hose into, and then you have a tanker that pushes the cement with pressure, pushes the cement up into the silo. Now this same rocket scientist, told you he's not as smart as a glass of water. He's inside of the silo, scraping down the sides and cleaning the air. There's some puffer bags. There's some puffers in there that blow air in, so when the cement's in there, it'll fluff every once in a while, and keeps the cement from getting bound down. The cement is powder, all right? So I'm talking about not the concrete, but I'm talking about just the powder cement. So he's in there, and here comes Jimmy Sweet, who doesn't let nothing stand between him and getting his job done. This guy is an old Vietnam vet, you know, great guy, and if he's got to put that cement in that silo, that cement is going in that silo. So he pulls up to the silo. There's a cap you're supposed to use. It's a red cap, and it goes on, and it locks on, and there's a lock that goes on it, so it's impossible for you to hook a hose to the thing. Of course, it's laying there on the ground. Haji doesn't need to use it because he's just so smart, and he just doesn't need to use it. Well, next thing you know, here's Super Troopers. Jimmy Sweet pulls up, backs up, hooks up the hose, and now Haji starts hearing this, right? Now Haji's inside the building. The cement silo's inside, and the pipe goes outside. He hears the truck, and all of a sudden he hears bang, bang, bang. That's a telltale sign that somebody's hooking a hose to it and knocking the ears. There's ears that you have to tighten up, and they're always dirty, so you got to hit them with a hammer. So he hears that. He starts making his way up the silo, in the inside. Now, the inside of these silos, every 4 feet, there's a band of steel, like a 4-inch piece of steel that goes across. And then 4 more feet up, piece of steel that goes across the other direction, back and forth. If you look at the top, from the top down, it would look just like a big X. But there are a whole bunch of these things every 4 feet. So he's climbing up these things because he's in the bottom of the silo, and the silo is about 40 feet. So he's got to get up one, go up the next, go up the next, go up the next. He gets almost to the top, and here comes good old Jimmy Cement coming out of the top of that, and it goes in, the pipe goes up the side, and it drops in the top. There's an opening about 1 foot wide by about 2.5 foot long that this pipe has an opening, and it all just comes down. And next thing you know, there's old Haji right in a stream of really hot Portland cement pouring down on him, and he can't climb up anymore. It's just pounding him, and he starts to yell, but he realizes he can't yell because he has no air. So he's hanging with his arm over top of one of these 1/8-inch thick steel bands. Okay, they're only thin bands of steel. He's hanging there. Till this day, his shoulder is all tore up. He's got scar tissue where he was hanging on there for life, and he put his head down inside of his shirt and just kept breathing in real shallow, right close to his body, and yeah, it's a good thing. It's a wonder he didn't die. So Jimmy gets, in record time, Jimmy blows that. God, it's an awful good thing it was Jimmy Sweet and not somebody else that was dicking around. So Jimmy Sweet puts it off, blows in air, clears his lines out, blows in air. And here comes Haji making the last 2 feet up out of the silo. Gets up on top of the silo, goes to climb down the side. He can't see. He slips and falls, boom, off the side of the silo. And there was vermiculite bags. There's vermiculite bags all over the floor down by around the silos where they store the vermiculite. He lands into a vermiculite bag, falls on the ground. He gets up. He staggers out the door, and Jimmy Sweet's standing there looking at him. And Jimmy says to me, he goes, I had no idea who this guy was or what the hell he was doing. And he goes, I can't believe somebody could live through that, So he's coughing. He falls on the ground. Jimmy runs up. You okay? You okay? No, I'm not okay. So anyway, it's funny now. It wasn't funny then, but this poor bastard, he wound up, he lived through it, and then after that he quit. And now he's driving fuel. Now he's, get this, think about this one. This brilliant guy is now driving a truck full of fuel up and down the thruway.
You cannot make this up.
It's the God's honest true story too. Eric Rosinskis is his name. If you're, he lives in Glen. Carl probably knows him.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So now he's driving a fuel truck. Great.
Yeah, he works for Betty Beaver driving a fuel truck. We had one guy, Art Sharmandan. He was blowing off one of these tankers. Now think about this. It's a 40-foot tanker full of cement and high pressure. Well, not high pressure. 14 pounds of air, right? 14 pounds of air. So something happened. I don't know what possessed him to do it, but he's looking at the gauge and the cement's not going in, so he wants to investigate, see what's happening. So he thinks he can release the top of the tank. There's manholes that they fill these things. There's 3 pockets, and there's a pocket door, and he's going to open that up and look inside, but release the air. I mean, after all, it's only 14 pounds, right, PSI, but he's not all that bright either, and he's not thinking about the volume of air. And so he says, well, I weigh 200 pounds. There's only 15 pounds in there. I should be able to stand on that, release the hatches, and my body will hold the top down, and I'll just get off and slowly let the air come off, because he couldn't get the pressure to drop. Something was plugged. So he stands on this thing. Sure enough, good old Art, he starts loosening up these four nuts. You loosen these things up. They're big, like a wing nut thing. You loosen that up, and then they fall open. They fall out. Well, this air's coming out, rushing out. His plan's working perfectly. He gets to the last one, pulls it open, and poof! There goes Art. He landed 60-some feet away, broke both of his legs, trapped back pretty bad, broke his collarbone, and he realized that 15 pounds with all that volume is a little bit hard to overcome with a 200-pound body.
What was the size of the hatch? What was the diameter? Was it round?
Yeah, it's round. I would say you can climb right down inside, so they're big enough to. I would say 18 inches to 2 feet.
Okay, hold on a second.
And it's a 40-pound. It's a 40-foot tank, and it's it's 8 feet in diameter. Yeah, they're 8 feet in diameter, and they have pockets beneath them. So if it was just a tube, it'd be 3 by 8, but it's actually bigger than that because they have pockets.
Now, that's a lot of square inches. I don't know how many, but it's enough that it's going to be more than 200 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is. You guys doubled it. I'm not sure what Tootie said. But yeah, he shot him 60 feet.
I guess 6,000 pounds.
6,000, huh? well, how much energy does it take to shoot a 200-pound guy 60 feet? That's how much was coming out of it.
I would say 6,000 would do it.
I would say so, too.
It's lucky it didn't have 150 pounds in it.
He's too big for crying out loud. I mean, this company's had so many close calls,
Well, I've worked with people like that. You know, half my life I've worked with people like that, and it's just incredible.
It's a wonder the human body can take what it takes. I mean, you think about it. You get thrown 60 feet through the air. I mean, I'm not sure how many feet up he went, but he went out 60. So he had to go up 100, right? He didn't just go sideways. He went up and over there. So it's a hell of a ride, man.
Now, if you listen very carefully when nobody's transmitting, you'll start to hear the waves of the solar coming at you. It's on us.
So is there aurora tonight?
Well, probably not yet, but it most likely will eventually happen.
Yeah, they're talking about higher elevations. Not higher elevations, but higher, whatever, more north.
High latitude aurora warning.
Thank you. High latitude.
Going to have a lot of UFO sightings from Canada tonight.
And for normal.
KB2ZVP, best 73, everybody. I'm going to go to bed. I'm all storied out, and I'm pooped. It's a rough day today. Rough day. We were 154 pallets of block. These are 3 blocks on the pallet. 154 short of hitting my goal of 170,000 units this month. And I was so angry when I did the math at the end of the day. I was just like, wanted to start the machine up and run 200 more.
Have a nice night, Randy. WAA2.
Yeah, I had a tough one too, Randy. I had to sign a bunch of great stories. I'm going to hit the back myself with my thing yesterday. So anyway, good talking to you guys as always. Catch you tomorrow, KD2.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I didn't put it in my phone. A lot of times I will put this stuff in my phone. It's important stuff. How'd you make out with your rotor-rooter? I mean, your inspection?
Yeah, all fine. Everything was fine. It's just, it's a fast thing and being dehydrated, so, just recovering. I thought I'd be a lot better, but I was just kind of sluggish. I wasn't drowsy or anything, just tired and sluggish. And, so anyway, but fine, thanks for asking. I'm surprised you remembered, but, doing okay. Just not 100% yet, but getting
I apologize for not asking you yesterday. I should have put it in my phone, and I'd like to do that, keep track of stuff like that. It's because it's important to all of us. It's the thing that if you die, your equipment comes. So we got to know whenever anybody is going through anything like that.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about that. The family has all been instructed. They all get donated to the world famous Toad Harbonet, along with all of my war paraphernalia.
Man, I like this guy, Ray. You were right. He is a keeper. All right. See you guys all later. Good night. KB2ZVP.
Hey, Randy. I think I'm going to go to 73, everybody. WAA2.
Take care, Doc. Sometime over here, some of your Walker Bulldog stories. Those must be fascinating.
No. But I tell you one thing, I liked it a lot better than that damn Patton. Thing was slow pig compared to that.
Yeah, we had a 24 chassis that we're going to use as a target graphic here, and the thing was in pristine condition, still cosmoline, left over from the war that wasn't used, and so we refurbished it, put fuel in it, put batteries in the thing, ran like Jeff.
Oh, wow, awesome.
Yeah, I think I got a couple of pictures of it, but just really, really neat. Anyway, let's see that, Doc. Let's see, I think Mark was in there, a few others, and Ray, we'll catch you guys later if you're still around. KT2D, I got a minute.
Yeah, just before you go. What's the maximum range at the best elevation? How far will that tank gun shoot?
Let's see, so the greatest range in elevation for max range?
Yes.
109 kilometers.
Holy shit.
Jesus, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, they're basically very heavy, long, skinny darts that are coming out at, almost 6,000 feet a second. So they, so you got to be, if they hit the ground and skip, they've got a hell of a ricochet and a skip range too.
Have you ever heard one of those go by? Like, say you're standing, let's say you're standing 500 yards downrange, and they shoot one of those by you, like, a few hundred feet on one side or the other. Does that thing crack, does it break the sound barrier?
Oh, yeah. They're going about Mach 5. So when you're down in the berm, like in a zero range, and if you're behind the berm where they got panels up there, it's more than a crack. It sounds like somebody just shot a cannon. Not quite as loud as they so. You hear two things. You hear the burst go by, which is a pretty loud crack, and then you hear a few seconds later, from the cannon, the muzzle blast.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know those things are awful pointy, so I'm assuming they make a sonic boom, essentially, but you never know. That's a real interesting piece of hardware, I'll tell you. That is really something. Okay, anyway, 7-3. I'll see you tomorrow. N1 DBL.
Yeah, the heat rounds are kind of like a cylinder with a spike coming off the nose, so they got a very blunt nose, so they throw a real strong, like bow shock, where the long rod ones, like you said, are needle nose, and so they're fine, and it's a more oblique shock, so it's not quite, even though they're going faster, it's not quite as loud, but the heat rounds are the ones there, because they're full bore, and they make a real whomp when they go by. But, we'll catch you later, KT2D.
One more question before you go. Do they ever use those tanks to bombard something like, say, they would use artillery if they need them for that reason?
Usually only as a last resort. I mean, it is a function of a tank, but the ammunition that we have now is primarily for material defeat and defeat, so it's not really optimized for like artillery bombardment, suppression fire. They did it a couple of times in the Korean War, but that was when they were in real dire straits. And it didn't work so well, because tankers usually on trained as artillerymen, so the other thing is the velocity of the rounds, they tend to be overstabilized. In other words, when you fire at a high arc trajectory, they don't nose over, they're spinning too fast because they're higher velocity, and so some of them don't nose over, so they don't land on the nose, so it wasn't really effective in the Korean War as they had hoped, when they were in desperation to go at, when they were being overrun and everything. You're told that, you can tank support by fire only, but that's generally not the most advantageous use of them. You want to be able to use the shock action and the mobility to do it, but the short answer is possible, but not as effective as real artillery.
Did you read Rommel's book?
Yeah, infantry attacks a long time ago.
Okay, George Patton did, so I was just wondering if you did too. Okay, anyway, fun. Have fun tonight. See you later, N1 DBL.
All of our tactics, more than anybody else, there were two guys. There was Liddell Hart, which was a British strategist, who talked about the indirect approach, and the other one was a German, Heinz Guderian, who developed the blitzkrieg tactics. So you look at our airland battle tactics and how what we used in the storm, it came out in like airland battle 80s and stuff like that, and that's what really was done there. That's right out of Heinz Guderian and B.H. Liddell Hart, the Brit. Those were the guys that were the architects of that. So we just modified it for our, and changed it a little bit. Out at Leavenworth they changed it, but that's basically where that came from.
Okay, very good. Anyway, it's been fun. We'll see you tomorrow night, I guess. And anyway, 7-3 for now, and 1 DVL.